Recherche et destruction. Détruisez l'objectif. On tient la bombe. On n'a plus le temps. Finissez-en, Black Ops. Il reste un ennemi. Tu es notre dernière chance. Réfléchis et agis vite. Recherche et destruction. Défendez l'objectif. Il reste un ennemi. Occupez-vous-en. Le temps presse. Allez-y et faites le nécessaire. On a gagné cette manche. Préparez-vous pour la prochaine. Recherche et destruction. Éliminez l'objectif. Bombe récupérée. Il reste un ennemi. On a remporté les 3 dernières manches. Recherche et destruction. Protégez l'objectif. Bougez-vous, Black Ops. Le temps presse. L'ennemi a posé la bombe. Il reste un ennemi. Occupez-vous-en. Désamorçage de la bombe en cours. On désactive la bombe. Bombe désamorcée. Les 4 dernières manches pour le camp des gentils. Recherche et destruction. Détruisez l'objectif. On tient la bombe. On pose la bombe. Bombe active. Cinq à la suite. Recherche et destruction. Défendez l'objectif. Bougez-vous, Black Ops. On arrive au générique de fin. Il reste un ennemi. Prenez tout. La guilde va payer pour leur erreur.
Recherche et destruction. À toutes les unités, attaquez le personnel non autorisé. On arrive au terme de la mission, maintenant ou jamais. Plus qu'un ennemi, neutralisez-le. Vos performances sont insuffisantes. Ressaisissez-vous. Recherche et destruction. Avancez et exécutez tous les ordres de mission. On a la bombe. Il reste un ennemi. Il faut l'éliminer. On arrive au terme de la mission. Concluez l'affaire. Recherche et destruction. Protégez l'objectif. Charge ennemie en place. Désamorçage en cours. Désactivation de la bombe. Désamorçage de la bombe en cours. On n'en a pas encore terminé. Retournez-y. Recherche et destruction. La compagnie attend le meilleur de vous. C'est aussi simple que ça. Bombe récupérée. Pose de la bombe en cours. Bombe active. Plus qu'un ennemi. Neutralisé. Recherche et destruction. Défendez l'objectif. L'ennemi a posé la bombe. Manger pour eux. Mais on peut encore revenir. Recherche et destruction. Faites preuve d'initiative, si vous voulez que Madame Kagan vous remarque. On a la bombe. Le temps presse. Il faut passer à l'action. Il reste un ennemi. Il faut l'éliminer. On pose la bombe. La bombe a été posée. L'ennemi a désamorcé notre bombe. La situation vous échappe. Reprenez le contrôle. Recherche et destruction. La guilde a placé ses espoirs en vous. Ne nous décevez pas. Il reste peu de temps pour agir. un ennemi. Neutralisez-le. L'ennemi a posé la bombe. On désamorce la bombe. Bombe déconnectée. Ça fait une manche. Continuez et on en discute. Recherche et destruction. Éliminez l'objectif. Bombe récupérée. Pose de la bombe en cours. Il reste un ennemi. Il faut l'éliminer. Charge en place. Votre performance est acceptable, équipe de sécurité. Continuez. Recherche et destruction. Protégez l'objectif. On arrive au terme de la mission. C'est maintenant ou jamais. Plus qu'un ennemi. Neutralisez-le. Ne lâchez rien. Ça en fait 3 d'affilée. Recherche et destruction. La hiérarchie surveille de près cette mission. Je ne veux aucune bavure. On a la bombe. On a perdu la bombe. Il reste un ennemi. Il faut l'éliminer. Bombe récupérée. On arrive au terme de la mission. Concluez l'affaire. Je reçois des appels d'actionnaires très satisfaits. Bon travail. N'oubliez pas que vos perspectives d'évolution dépendent des résultats de la mission. On contrôle le point stratégique. On a pris la tête. Creusez l'écart. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. Point stratégique sécurisé. Le point stratégique est actif. On contrôle le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. Le point stratégique est actif. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique.
Ici Grim, envoyez le Hellstorm.
Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique contesté. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique actif. On a perdu l'avantage. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique sécurisé. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. point stratégique est actif. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. On contrôle le point stratégique. Le point stratégique est actif. Point stratégique contesté. On conteste le point stratégique. On a l'avantage, ne lâchez rien. Point stratégique contesté. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Black Ops a pris la tête. Ne les laissez pas faire. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique sécurisé. On conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Ces performances sont inférieures aux limites acceptables. Point stratégique contesté. On contrôle le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique localisé. On a l'avantage. Tenez le cap. Le point stratégique est actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. On conteste le point stratégique. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Ils sont en tête. Reprenez l'avantage. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Conservez notre avantage. On conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. Point stratégique sécurisé. Notre prestation dépasse toutes les attentes. Excellent travail.
Trop facile. Black Ops se relâche?
point stratégique. Le succès garantit un accès aux avantages premium. On contrôle le point stratégique. On a pris la tête. Creusez l'écart. On conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique sécurisé. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. Le point stratégique est actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique localisé. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. On conteste le point stratégique. Le point stratégique est actif. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique localisé.
L'ennemi a détruit votre système trophy.
On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On contrôle le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique identifié. stratégique est actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. Exactement ce qu'on voulait avec eux. Point stratégique localisé. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique actif. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique est actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. On contrôle le point stratégique. Vous commencez à attirer l'attention. Continuez comme ça. Recherche et destruction. Défendez l'objectif. Le temps presse. Il faut passer à l'action. Dispositif ennemi en place. Une ennemie. Neutralisé. Désamorçage en cours. Bombe désamorcée. Cette manche est pour nous. Beau travail. Recherche et destruction. Autorisation d'attaquer. Défendez les intérêts de la guilde. On a la bombe. Charge perdue. Il ne reste plus que vous. Faites le boulot. Il reste peu de temps pour agir. Cette manche est pour eux. Mais on peut encore revenir. Recherche et destruction. Protégez l'objectif. Il reste un ennemi. Il faut l'éliminer. Le temps presse. Il faut passer à l'action. Dernier survivant. Le protocole est clair. L'ennemi a posé la bombe. On désamorce la bombe. Bombe désamorcée avec succès. Victoire validée. Score de performance mis à jour. Recherche et destruction. Détruisez l'objectif. Bombe récupérée. On connecte la bombe. Il reste peu de temps pour agir. Bombe armée. Plus qu'un ennemi. Neutralisez-le. Ça fait une manche. Continuez et on en discute. Recherche et destruction. Défendez l'objectif. On arrive au terme de la mission. Tuez la bombe. Dispositif ennemi en place. La situation vous échappe. Reprenez le contrôle. Recherche et destruction. Sécurisez la zone de mission à tout prix. On a la bombe. Pose de la bombe en cours. Porteur éliminé. On arrive au terme de la mission. C'est maintenant ou jamais. Bombe récupérée. Bombe lâchée. On n'en a pas encore terminé. Retournez-y. Recherche et destruction. Protégez l'objectif. Il reste un ennemi. Il faut l'éliminer. Cette manche est pour nous. Beau travail. Recherche et destruction. Autorisation d'attaquer. Défendez les intérêts de la guilde. On a la bombe. Il reste peu de temps pour agir. Plus un ennemi. Neutralisez-le. Porteur éliminé. Vos performances sont insuffisantes. Ressaisissez-vous. Recherche et destruction. Défendez l'objectif. On arrive au terme de la mission. Concluez l'affaire. L'ennemi a posé la bombe. Il ne reste plus que vous. Faites le boulot. La situation vous échappe. Reprenez le contrôle. Recherche et destruction. La guilde a placé ses espoirs en vous. Ne nous décevez pas. Bombe récupérée. Tyrell, storm ennemi détecté dans votre ZO. Pose de la bombe en cours. La bombe a été posée. Dispositif désamorcé. À tout le personnel, repliez-vous. Les secours arrivent.
has only 3 snipes, Chris.
Yikes.
3. And you're talking about the same sample size. The Exit has 35, Sip has 24, right?
Yeah.
So he needs to get back to where he was. They'll be converting more of their first blood rounds, and maybe they'll find a little bit more success.
All right, we know Abuz is going to be the sniper for FaZe, but who brings out the boomstick? Is it still Nonchalante, a.k.a. Dante, here for the Gentlemates after Joe Deceives is added into the mix?
And it feels like he's been pulling out a little bit more, and we've gotten a little bit more of the ceiling out of Sib. My biggest thing about Gentlemates right now is, one, they got swept by Optic last weekend, so this is a big test for them against another top team that's looking to make a Sunday run at Paris. And also, my biggest focus for them, at least, is these map ones. I remember when Gentlemates was finding a lot of success, it's when they were not only dominant in hardpoint, but they were dominant specifically in the map ones with their old team. And that's what sets them up for success later on in the series, where right now what we're seeing is they're going down 100 points in that map 1 hardpoint, and then they're battling themselves back in those last 3 hills to keep it close within about 50 points, and then they're unable to close it out. So I'd love to see a Gentlemates in a series that is able to close out that map number 1 pick and then go on to maybe win 3.
We know Colossus hardpoint. That's what they're looking to do. We have Hacienda as map 2, a double dose of Scar, and we'll close it out on Den. So Nameless, we've got 3 weeks with Estriel on the lineup for the Gentlemates. This is now the 2nd week for Joe Deceives.
Yeah.
Where is he most comfortable, and who do you have winning this match?
Yeah, I would say the Colossus. She's talking about them starting strong. That should be a map those two can ball out on, right? So I would tend to agree with that for them in this one. But who knows? We don't know too much about this Gentlemates team just yet. They still got to prove it. The last outing from this team was the most disappointing that you could ask for out of them. They got destroyed by Optics. So here's a time for a big get back.
Simp had a bad match. You had the whole team have a bad match against Optic. I'm going to go with Simp not having a bad match today. I think FaZe gets the win. They're higher in our power rankings. It's the safe play, and I want to win here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with FaZe as well. I agree. I think Sim's back this weekend.
Yeah.
Him versus Joe. I think Sim gets it done.
That's valid. I just think FaZe is hitting their rut right now for the season. I'm going to stick with Gentlemates. I think this will be a big win for them.
Now, what would it take for you to shy away from a Gentlemate selection?
If they had to go up against Optic again.
Okay, just the Optic matchup.
Just the Optic.
What about
the
G2?
Okay.
Damn, they just beat Optic.
No, that is valid, but on a consistent basis, for them to only do it 1 time, that's a very small sample size to go off of. LA, maybe, on LAN.
I like this. Okay, we've got our casters loading up here in just a moment. Nameless, before we get to the games, final thoughts here on what you need to see from Estriel and Joe Deceives. You have buffed up your SMG roster. That's at least the theory going into Major 4. If they want to raise a trophy in front of their fans, how do they get it done? What do you want to see from that duo in particular?
Yeah, well, I want to see them both continue to perform, but it's not as much like those two because they've been great. It's the whole team. Like, they need to have more teamwork. I mean, you look at that, the skill of these players individually, all 4 of them, to get beat 250 to 78 on that Hacienda is unacceptable. Cut your losses, focus on the next rotation, and don't scam. It can be simple when you have players that are that talented. You give yourself an advantage, you're gonna be able to put up points.
We've got the game ready, and so is my man Jeremy Stud. Let's jump into this one as we get Merc and Maven ready in the dugout.
Ooh, I'm excited to get into this matchup. It's just me. I don't know where Alan went, but hopefully he joins me here pretty soon. But what a matchup we have in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, if you are Paris, you are just hoping to God that this edition of Joe Deceives can put you back to that juggernaut form that you found yourself at Major 1, because what you put on tape last week versus Optic, that is not what you want in this roster. So hopefully they're able to, you know, with a little bit more practice, be in better form today. And then on the opposite side for FaZe, I think Nameless hit it on the head again. My guy is on point for the desk. Seeing FaZe lose Search and Destroys the way that they have been in the last couple of weeks is absurd, because it's always been a team that relies on picking Team B in the veto process. That means that they're always going to choose their Search and Destroy map for map number 2, but now they are losing those, and then they're getting outclassed at certain respawns. So this is where FaZe need to lock it on in. Dig your feet in the sand and get a grasp of what you want to do as a team. Because when FaZe were in that juggernaut form, S&D was basically locked up. And it was also because Abuz was finding a lot of success with the sniper. So here we go. To start off the map on Colossus, I know if you're the Gentlemates, this is a map that you are heavily relied on to have a lot of success, especially with the addition of Joe. So let's see how the Slain presence is going to be on both sides. Still, no sign of shift, but the action is upon us. Early fights for statue control. Estriel, the new addition to the team, already trying to start off on a high note, but he's only able to get one. Thankfully, the rest of the teammates slay their way through the middle of the map, but it's Draza on 4 in a row, continuously pushing them back. And instead of just listening to me for this entire initial start of this game, let's go to an immediate listening with Paris.
I'm pinching me. I want to add her 1 HP. Did I touch you already? I want that. Statue. I'm swinging orange. I'm Chris. Nice shot, bro. I'm playing through. I see my new missing 04 in a boost. One left. Deep drop. One shot lobby. One shot freaking lobby. Drops. First guy's outer. I'm one shot, bro. You guys should bump under. We're all here. Watch out. Close that to me, probably. I'm one. I've got her. Outer inner. I died from under. Two laying in. Hitting it. There's 2 times. Yeah, 2 outer. Inner. P1 watch the. I thought sit in the blue. Running in the back. I'm going out front. Ape sider, come here. What'd you? I'm one shot, bro. You might go middle. Stay low. One out of time. Outer time. Who's dead? Nice, I'm here. Name back control. I'll go new. 20. I got 4 dead. Nice. One back. Nice. Booze look great. What's one yellow? Booze look great. Yellow big. Is he in garage? Yellow big dead. I got him. I've time. Booze outer blue crate. I'm seeing crossing it. Every tunnel, dude. Close. 4 weak in time. Close in. Nice job. One more gonna be there, Sim. Outer blue crate head glitching it. Head glitching it. Hearts and one. Try nading me and he fucked up nading. He's weak. 2 front, 1 dead. He's weak. He can't shot you right away. 2 front. First, pitching. Cider garage. 04. Tunnel. And there's 1 shot. Leo. 1 HP. There's that tunnel. I'm gonna go do. I think blue lobby. 04 is middle, baby. Yo, I pinched you back. I'm heading Sim. Dead. I'm nice. Nice. Let's go. 1 shot. Leo bullet. 1 HP. I'm needing. 1 HP. He's holding. He's reloading it. Make sure you put it. I need him all. I'm in there right now. 3 roll. Actually 3. Actually 1 shot. I can't shot. Opposite 1 shot. I can't shot. 1 second. I'm crossing Kennedy weak. Yeah, I'm dead. Already in the back.
Well, back and forth affair so far as we get over to 4J. In the moment, FaZe doing a nice job through the handful of rotations that we've been able to see, but tested here as the spawns are starting to come through, you would think, for a moment, but not going to be the case. Paris able to stabilize.
Yeah, they did their thing at the ending of that P2, walking away majority of the time, but Paris gentlemen's keep it scrappy, and just based off of the communication, chemistry is starting to sink here for this new lineup. Everyone providing their 25%. The small talk was on point, and now Paris gentlemen's following up with the slaying, leading to the map control. Almost going to be able to be in a position to take the lead, but it's Traza again through the front. He finds 2, Sip finds another, and FaZe instantly flipped them out.
Yeah, really nice job for FaZe playing recovery in the back 30. Likely to leave this first set of hills in the lead. Sim trying to work on something early over towards Statue, but Traza kind of slips the net, almost finds more than you would have bargained for, but Sim's going to follow behind that, keeps him P1 control here in the last couple of seconds on our final hill. Spawns are all over the place right now as well for Paris, which is just not comfortable. It feels like you're just continually playing into these 2v4s. 04 eventually falls on the old time, so an opportunity here for the Gentlemates to at least concentrate some effort. They're going to head all the way over towards Statue, but it's right perfectly initially by FaZe. They just can't quite find the final kills. Ghosty for 3 will get Paris in the time.
Yeah, that's a big triple there from Ghosty to lock down this side of the map for your team and now push FaZe back, because you know that they still have those blue spawns, but they're going to try to work on these lefts to set up this break. Draza is able to find the opening kill. Now you're reading the pressure from Statue, you're reading the pressure in bottom tunnel, and Ghosty was able to manage it at least initially, but now with the numbers, FaZe fly on in, and that's going to lead to a very clean break.
It feels like what we've seen continually out of FaZe in their hard point over the last month or so is that it doesn't ever feel like they're ever out of the picture. Even when they have moments where they're pushed away from spawns, they're able to set something up nicely to at least contest some of that back time. That's currently what's happening right now. On top of the fact that they will also put themselves, at least for the moment, in a position to have P2 open up towards their back. Abuza 7 in a row has been a main factor of why. 15 and 7. Just feels like he doesn't die all that often, but of course, commentator Curse comes through and he falls right on the little push out from the zone of P2. Paris now trying to set up from the front as the break is starting to come on the way.
Yeah, and I'm loving the way that FaZe are playing this hard point because Draza is basically locked in on this third SMG role. He is keeping up pace with 04 and Sim. This is the struggle versus the top teams in the game, just hitting outclassed on that other team beating you to the punch in certain aspects. But with Draza being hand-in-hand with Sip and 04, you are controlling the map, you are dominating off of the rotations, and at least for now, you're still keeping the lead 30 to 40 points in your favor. So with 25 seconds remaining, Paris Gentleman's trying to hold on to the final 20 seconds.
Great decision here from Ghosty to push out, create an extra layer in front of the scrap time, but also, if they find kills, creates a chance to put some early pressure on rotation to New. Joe not quite able to get the health back, but Sib still finds the kill that was intended to be there on Sib. Estriel, timing on this round could be everything. Good read onto Abuza. Do they know that Droz is playing inside a tunnel? May not make much of a difference. Simp is able to cut things off over towards the Godheady, and FaZe will have control for the moment over tunnel and the first portion of this P3 and what has been a tight game.
Yeah, they lock down yellow control, and now you're just going to wait for 04 on this super long route through blue to allow you now to get some time at this HP. Last player you have to account for is going to be Ghosty, but you know he's knocked down to half HP. He's not going to go for the peak. So you're just going to walk on in, stay alive at both sides, and just hope to God that we can eliminate Ghosty quickly, but you don't, and now Paris with the numbers, get the break.
Yeah, it feels like, again, the same things we praise FaZe for, the same things come through for Paris when they need it most. Abuza playing for the rotation to New. Sib in a position to at least contest this route. And Estriel will actually spawn up as well to assist if needed. And Abuza has not been seen as of yet. Now dealt with, though. 4 will fall. Big moment in this map here as Paris will have firm control of the scrap and be able to set up a lane here over towards New.
Yeah, Sib's already created an extra layer, even though he quickly gets taken care of. You turn it into a 3v3 scenario with your teammates holding the power spots. So rotation secured by the Gentlemates. Ghosty on 4 in a row. And FaZe is just banking to go right through the front door. You got an Abuza. He finds 3, and now this becomes chaotic for Paris.
Well, Joe's able to find a key Semtex onto 04. Gives Paris a chance to find timing from Ghosty around the back. He'll find 1 for free. Draza stuck with nowhere to go. He's just trying to create something out of nothing, but it won't happen. Abuza putting some damage in from afar, but with 30 seconds left, you'd like more than damage. You'd like some more time here if you're FaZe. And it looks like Paris will shut them down. Now firm control of Statue coming through behind us, and oh wow, Paris are turning up. 2 great hills back to back.
Yeah, and they're gonna force this Hellstorm out of Abuza just so he doesn't allow them to get this final 20. So you can still be somewhat in this game going in towards the P1 because you don't have a single teammate that can try to contest this with all the space that Paris Gentlemates have over towards Statue. It's gonna be a one-on-one gunfight. 04 quickly loses it, and Paris Gentlemates flip the switch at the ending of that P3 to the P4 and are now up by 30.
Estriel trying to find some information. A little poke up through Statue Mantle. Finds instead 04 down low as the rest of his teammates will do well to clear out the hard point. 171 to 149. FaZe coming off with some staggered spawns and timing. All spawning concentratedly over towards the yellow side of the map, but it's just going to be such a long haul to get through this time and still flip the map around. Have to do something miraculous at the moment as Ghosty shutting things down on 2 in a row. Joe following up for the 3rd, and Paris continue to lock things up. 30 seconds left on P1.
Yeah, and that's got to be so frustrating if you are FaZe because you hit the long routes, you do the little things correctly, but then when you get to the final punch where we need to win this wave to get time, Paris are there with their slaying presence. Still 20 seconds remaining, and it's looked like Paris potentially just going to forfeit this, but with 2 kills going their way, might as well pressure it because you have the numbers. Estriel dominating Statue, the rest of the teammates here to assist, and this is going to allow the Gentlemates to win the rotation to B2.
But an extra elimination from Draza. Puts a little bit of pressure on the front until Sib steps up, takes that very swiftly. And even the read coming through for Paris on this overextension is beautiful. Shuts down 04 before he can really make a mess of the back. And nice shots from Joe Deceives up top towards P1. Next hit from FaZe, purely from the front. Estriel trying to stop it, but gets dealt with quickly. Goes to only good for 1. And that's going to be enough for 04 to finesse play the 1v2 inside the hill. Nade out, but can't find the kill. Abuza's turn. He's able to find his 2. Huge shots from Abuza. Helps to out away from mid-map, but the shots coming through from Paris will allow them to, at worst, keep this contested, if not neutral. And that final double from Joe Deceives will get the Gentlemates over 200 points.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many kills you get. If Gentlemates have those back spawns, they have more opportunities to continuously keep on flooding. So now you blink, the Gentlemates are going to be up by 60. Going in towards the P3 phase, need to catch up in their slaying presence. Everyone was matching it, but 04 and Sib had some bad sequences there. And now Paris have an opportunity to close out the game here at the next HP.
But timing of this route from 04 is going to shut down the play at tunnel. Everything else over the top of the hard point was pretty casual for FaZe, but required to hold and still put together a solid rotation. Game could come down to one of those two elements. Abuza, good for the first. Shut down on the second, comes through, but Sib mid-map keeps Sib at bay, and the pistol shots come through to win. Plus 04, it's able to take down Estro, who was trying to get in from the front. So once more, Paris swatted back, and FaZe are digging into the lead.
And now if you are FaZe, you got to choose wisely when we're going to decide to get kills and push forward. Draws is trying to take a different approach, but he gets caught in towards P1, so now this is only going to slow down the rest of your teammates. And Sip, unfortunately, was ready and waiting for the gunfight, just gets slammed there by Joe. So this entire time, Paris don't flip the map out. They get the break, and now FaZe have to commit through the front.
Yeah, really smart from Paris to continually play through tunnel there to make sure that the map at least allowed FaZe to still spawn backside over towards the other. Hold on a second, Estro's going to spawn out. Big moment right now for Draza. They know that someone's around the back, but Draza's able to find the first. He does get shut down quickly. FaZe have to try to find this break now from the front almost purely. Sim trying to work something from mid-map, and he's shut down by Estriel. Ghosty, stunned, nade. No trophy system to keep Paris safe. Allows FaZe a chance to contest, but look at the route from Estriel around the back. He's able to find two, and that will likely be the game-winning play. Simp able to get one in return, but he's got to find a way to pull off something unbelievable from the front. It's not going to happen. Ghosty finds one, draws it in for a double, and he's going to find three. 247, 198. FaZe able to move spawns at the same time. We still got a game.
We still have a game. FaZe able to breach that 200-point mark, and Simp already creating so much space at P2, but loses that initial fight. So now Genomaze can take control of Statue. They can set themselves up to close it out with 3 seconds needed at this P1, but they're still pressuring gold, and FaZe are finding kills.
And you've got a couple of weapons ready to go to fight off this position over through Statue. Abuza, how big has he been in late game moments? He's working with Zaza, trying to find these eliminations up close and personal.
Oh
the one from the front. 230 to 247. FaZe still in control. Sid gives you one, but not the second. Nade comes through. It's got to be Abuza. Has to lock this down. First shots aren't there. Astro get the win. Draza on the mantle. Able to contest a little while longer, but a trophy system keeps Paris safe. Sip and 04 from the front, though. They stop it at 249, and Paris have to respawn.
And you got to take your time, man. Look for the opening kill. Esther is able to find it through Statue. You have the advantage. You got to go.
Photo finish on the way. Simp for one. Ghosted with the trade, but the kills continue to go back and forth. Pitch stripe kill feed, and it's FaZe through 04's final double to stop Paris dead in their tracks. They can't find a single second on the first hard point, and FaZe heroically steal away map number one.
That's the key word. All heroics. We're talking about screw it. This is our only play, and we hope to God that it's gonna work out. They commit everyone through the front door in the final moments of that P4 and able to find kills in sync at the perfect moment to flip them out. FaZe get that time, and then off the rotation find 2 kills as well before Estro is able to strike, so they already put themselves in the advantage. They fly over towards Statue, they trade it out effectively, and 04 plays his life so well in towards the side that FaZe in the closing moments just a little bit more icy.
I mean, 04 is nearly dealt with from the jump position, but it's Draza who saves his life. That may have been the game right then. And then the follow-up immediately afterwards. 04's final double to make sure nobody can touch. You'll see it in a moment because, again, the zoning around the map right now in terms of just putting yourself into a bunker on the hard point is incredible. But 04's last little route, trusting that his teammate can stay alive in the hill so he can win that battle at Statue, is everything for FaZe.
Oh yeah, because even though Estriel finds that kill, Estriel is weak. He can't turn that statue immediately. He has to wait an extra second or two so he can regen, so then you have that advantage at full force. But Simp, even though he's 29 and 40, puts up 4,500 damage. Everyone on FaZe sitting around basically even in the assist column. But that is one of those hard points that you can live to tell your grandchildren. FaZe Vegas start off the series 1-0.
Wow. That's one way to set up this series, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at the game flow map, just about as close as it gets. Only one lead swap in it until the very end. Wow. Unbelievable stuff, man. And it's just like you go into the moment immediately after the list elicited where Paris feel like they're just a little bit too late on some of the key rotations. FaZe put themselves in great spots, but then as soon as we jump out, you get those key wins, you lock down the spawns, and it feels like Paris are going to be in a bit of a runaway. But FaZe just feels like every time that they're in these tight hard points, they have ways to battle back and find those hero moments. So tight nail biter for map number 1. Now we just have to try to find a way to mentally reset and go into the search and destroy.
Yeah, and this was the sequence that I was talking about before this series started. FaZe always put themselves in a position to choose Team B in this series, so they are giving up that opening hardpoint pick to the opposing team. You take that hardpoint pick away from them, and now this is your pick for Hacienda Search and Destroy coming up. I know that they have yet to play it on the season, but this is sort of the same exact scenario we talk about with Optic that we're going to talk about with FaZe. Last season alone, between FaZe and Vancouver Surge, I swear to God, every single series that they played, there was Hacienda Hardpoint or Hacienda Search and Destroy in it. They are extremely comfortable on this map, even though they're sitting at 0-0, so expect a good game plan.
Yeah, I like that call a lot. Goodness. It's hard to pick your poison in this instance, but I like this comm. Some of the leaders on these teams have had a little bit of an issue in the search and destroy in particular. Now, again, there's a figuring out period here for Paris with the moves. I think especially knowing that Estriel and Joe kind of in the search and destroy kind of like to play in the same ways when they were on separate teams. So there is kind of a figuring out of what am I going to let you do? What can I actually do? And I imagine it's going to be only a matter of time before they figure it out because everything else has gone through very quickly for them. I mean, in terms of splitting the difference, yeah, sure. But it feels like they learn quickly is what I'm getting at. Because after the incredibly embarrassing loss versus Optic in the minor, it feels like they're already making strides towards fixing some of the things that were the issues there.
Now you saw the numbers that were just here on your screen. Simp the Pip sitting at a 0.8, but on the season versus Paris, he's doubled that KD department at a 1.6. You need to get him back into this form because when FaZe are winning search and destroys, they can go up against the likes of anyone. This has been the longest stint where FaZe are not finding success in this game mode, and it's usually off of the back of what this guy can provide. So they're going to be the team on offense, and they are instantly taking away foul control.
Yeah, I love that look. The nade over the top, and then 0-4 set up to try to find that information and turn it into a first blood. It works out nicely, but hold on. Double hit through Secret Hall. Paris able to recontrol some of the space. 0-4 behind the play, though, all of a sudden.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you felt the aim assist drag away from it. Ghosty trying to follow behind. Will take care of Simp. And now it's just down to Draza for the 1v2.
Lives for these moments. Looking for a little bit of information so he can make his big time play, but just gonna try to make the play come to him. Planning it for office. Gonna force Paris Gentlemen to think a little bit more than just a simple spot on this retake, but now time is your best friend if you're Draza.
First check, empty. Ghosty and Sib retaking the site now. Then doing hop. Oh, that nade. Whoa, he thought maybe it was going to be able to pull Draws a little bit further back, but Sib takes very strong position. No problem to get the trade, find the win, and have plenty of time for the defuse. It's Paris on the board first.
Yeah, that almost works out there for Draza because you plan it for office. Ghosty turns that corner in this pre-aiming office, but just sitting down low catches him off guard. But then Sib plays the mind games versus Draza because when you get a freebie like that, you're expecting the next guy to be on the defuse. So that's why he overextends, just because he doesn't have an angle to spot it. And Sib on the head glitch. You know, the guy barely misses bullets.
Yeah.
Paris take the 3v4 to start this game.
Yeah, clean. Yeah, I mean, that initial look at a break-off play was really cool, though, from FaZe. But the counter, the immediate reaction for Paris to take away that space up top at Fire Hall is unbelievably key. Essentially puts 0-4 on a bit of an island. So now it's on to the Paris offense. A little bit of patience over towards Lambo at the moment. Looking for nades up top towards open Hall. Sibs will not land onto both defenders that have taken that space away. So problems here for Paris. Only thing kind of saving them is the fact that this play towards the P2 garage has not been seen yet, and they're going to have a wide open B site.
Yeah, they've given up the entire map. So now you're just hoping that if we rotate it over towards B, there's not going to be anyone in the vicinity. But Simp is playing the timing game, and off of Abuza's information, Simp now knows the plays on this side.
Big win. Simp shut down through the middle of the map. Now gives some freedom to plant this bomb as Abuza was seen over towards the boathouse window. 4 for 1. Smoke out. Simp chows that. No problem. 3v2. Zaza duo up top. Playing together through Fire Hall. But Draza will fall. Joe able to find the first blood there. And now the follow-up onto Abuza. Should be pretty casual. And it is. Huge start here for Paris.
A lot of improvement so far in this search and destroy, especially the teamwork aspect. You gotta expect when you're putting in the time, especially with these caliber of players, eventually you're going to be able to figure it out. And for an organization who has struggled in search and destroy, potentially adding Hacienda to the map pool could play dividend to how they play the remaining series to close out this season. Because right now they are outclassing FaZe, just countering them off the info that they are providing and making great play calls after.
Okay, 2-0 start. FaZe looking for a response here to this next offense. Same nade over the middle. 0-4 not playing through Fountain this time. Instead, it's a 3-man stack here for Paris up top at that fire hallway. Simp trying to get some control of connector. Good for it for now. Trophy system down late, and Simp may try to use that as an opportunity to plant.
Yeah, but without secret control, you gotta choose the timing wisely. You need to either take 10 to back them down so we can plant it away from secret, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. First blood goes to Draza, but look at how quick Paris are to find that 3 and potentially still walk away with the numbers, but it's Draza with 3, 1v3 for Sid.
Oh, but he's found the first 2 really quickly, so now it's just down to 0-4 in a 1v1. And we have had more 1v2s and 1v3s today than what feels like the entire season combined. So can Sid see another one get through the hoop? Here's the wrap. Wide open sight. Is 0-4 going to be spotted? Ooh, I don't know if Sib saw him. 0-4 definitely saw him. So he will back away, play the clock. Now Sib's turn. Whoa! Big timing, big win! Don't miss, don't lose. The motto for Sib is he's on 7 in a row and another 1v3 on the day.
Oh yeah, Sib's just having one of those games, man. He's not missing bullets. He usually provides his dominance in search and destroy with that sniper, but remember, this guy is a straight shooter. The fact that Dross is able to walk away with 2 there, Sib just puts himself in a very good spot to quickly have an answer. And then the gun right for the occasion. 7-0. Curious to see if he was able to earn himself that Hellstorm off of the defuse, but Sib having himself a map.
Oh yeah. Not yet. Close. And if you know Sid, you know he wants blood. He's not sitting here looking for damage into an assist. He wants to kill. Earned it the hard way, but it's setting up Estriel for a double instead. Hellstorm goes unearned. Ooh, I was going to say, tough position to try to plant on considering that they've already opened up the open hallway. But here's the quick wrap up from Draza. Hold on a second. If he wins this first one, he's got an opportunity to completely pinch up Joe Deceives. Drives it back away towards checkers, but Joe's good for the trade. 1v1.
In another situation where FaZe had the numbers. They've thrown away 2 out of 3 rounds here in this game so far. But you need to be able to stop the bleeding. And with 40 seconds left, Joe Deceives killing the noise and forcing Abuza to play the 50-50 at the opposite side.
Well, Joe's going to plant this towards the office side. But he will set himself up to initially play off the open hall and then re-wrap to office. Abuza looking to possibly contest through the office steps. Timing is just not ideal initially for Abuza, who does not spot Joe Deceives. But Spidey sense tingling. Joe's got the ADS up though, and that is enough for him to take the win. And it just feels like every time we see a Paris kill cam or a player cam, they just can't believe what they're getting away with.
Yeah, because this is murder. It is 3 out of the 4 rounds when you have numbers advantage if you are FaZe. And somehow, some way, we keep getting isolated in some of these gunfights. And Paris have that clutch gene in them right now. The honeymoon stage is hitting a little bit different on Hacienda. And for FaZe, a team who desperately needs to work on their search and destroy. I was boasting this team about Hacienda SD, even though they have yet to play it. They have not had an answer here so far.
No, they have not. And a couple of throwaway rounds with big numbers advantages. Never helps. Quick hit developing over towards towards B here for FaZe on their next attack. Estriel, long water out, going to go completely uncovered. Does he choose to pop up here? Yeah, he will. Does he get the timing on this play? He sees 0-4 for the first, moving over towards the site, gets the second, and Sid provided another onto Sib. So immediately on for the defuse. Draza looking for a 1v3 of his own, checking for the bomb. Shots over the top of the bomb site were decent, but not good enough to take care of Ghosty, and it's quickly 5-0 Paris.
Yeah, and that's such a great play call then from Paris to just catch them off guard with something that is very difficult to read. When you have the leader's advantage in search and destroy, you can start to take some calculated risks, and you're also expecting the other team to just default in a lot of some of these rounds because they have been getting that first blood and they just haven't been able to have those closing moments. So Estriel knows we're up 4-0. They haven't had any success over towards fences, so let me just hit them with the switcheroo for 2. Water route is good, and Paris are now flawless here at game point.
A lot of freedom to do something crazy if they'd like to. Instead, it looks like Estriel's going to go for something quick into the water again. And they've seen Abuza play the boathouse once before, so I imagine Estriel's going to take the ultra long route. And that's indeed the case.
It's just unexpected.
No, but Sim's able to see him. So now there's some pressure over through boathouse side. Estriel just needs to play his life.
But he's actually going to continue to just go and find that kill onto Sim for free. You don't trap him towards the boathouse, and Sim finds an extra. So the immediate 4v2, you already have info onto Draza. This is looking like a flawless 6-0.
Sure is, my friend. Sim finds another onto Abuza. Last one left is Draza. And he's about to get blindsided by Estriel. I'm surprised. Sim not usually the suspect of, oh, I see a guy, let me just back away from that gunfight, and they try to retake on the site to leave Estriel alone. But I would say fortunate for Paris, the hit wasn't actually there yet. So Estriel gets away with a great first blood, and Paris 6-0 smoke phase out of Hacienda.
Yeah, Sim's just not expecting Estriel to be that aggressive in that position. Once you spot him, you put down shots. Even though nothing is able to connect, Simp is thinking about the big time play. If Estriel is taking that much space, they have to be trying to work this bomb plan. And there's no way in hell he's probably going to take that risk to just run out and chase me. But Estriel, when you're up 5-0, you might as well take the chance. Because that leads to the first blood. This allows Simp to fly on in for the second. And for a map that I was expecting FaZe to be really good at, they just got smoked.
Yeah. Well, Paris maybe feeling a little bit of anger after the drop of map number 1. They were up big, 247 to around the 200-point mark. That FaZe were able to put together the manifestation of what is an epic start. Second map, clean, casual, leaving us now with Overload. Any quick thoughts before we jump to a break here, Jay?
Hey, FaZe better bring that slang, man. That's all I'm going to say. If you don't bring that slang on Scar and you just trap them towards blue, you're not going to have fun.
Well, Scar has not been necessarily great. We'll see how things go. We're going to go straight to break, come back with the Overload in this one affair.
Black Ops 7 returns to the Esports World Cup this summer. Scan the QR code to get your tickets now.
Scuff, official controller of the CDL. Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL.
Brought to you by America's Navy and the special operators who work in the shadows.
Probably Warren on me. I'm trying to stay up. I spawn up. Got 2 guys. I need help on time.
Come on.
He's like better. Nice. Good help. On you close.
Close. We get
dead. I got 3. I'm getting that level 3. Let's go. We're back. Any door? Any duds?
I'll pick it up, Warren.
Dubs on me inside.
I Warren.
Inside. Nine.
Warren, watch out.
3. Look, all 3 red dots. Last guy's the door.
That's 3.
Last guy at the door. He's gonna go wall run. I think he's going wall run.
One shot, absolute Warren. Literally a bullet. Can't be here.
Inside, you suck. 2 more at the door. We'll go wall run. XC on. My God. Oh my God! Nice. Somebody stop me! Oh my God!
You're the best.
Come on, JB!
Now the Ravens soar. Now the Ravens battle. The final 5 moments for them now. What a turnaround. What a tournament. Carolina survive. Optic Texas go home.
He's on the route.
Photo finish on the way. Sim for 1. Ghosty with the trade.
No.
The kills continue.
Oh, that's fini.
And FaZe
Dude, that's it.
heroically still
Holy
Yo, the
That's the key word.
the duality of man. What an affair map number 1 was, and then to Gataga's, well, much joy, a quick 6-0 as a measure to respond. So now we find ourselves into a 1-1 map count, and we're in a position in, well, what happens next? Because as much as we can sit here and talk about like Paris on the season, their overload has been 50-50 legitimately right down the line. This new roster still figuring themselves out, and they were able to show a pretty solid opener on this particular map mode combo, but they've also played up against some tough teams in Overload. A loss to Riyadh and a loss to Optic were the 2 that they've faced so far.
Yeah, those are the top teams that we have in that game mode alongside Thieves. So with the new roster, obviously chemistry isn't all there yet. You're still able to put up a fight, but on the opposite side, you know, Nameless touched on FaZe desperately needing their search and destroy to be back in form. Obviously, that's not the case in this series. They have also been struggling in their overload. I feel like they're allowing the other team a majority of the game to just dictate how it's going to be played. And then when it's time for them to turn their defense into offense, that first kill that needs to initially go your way, they haven't been finding it recently. So for FaZe, you need to bring your slaying presence, but we also can't rely on individuals to make those big time plays. It needs to be more teamwork, especially on a map like Scar.
Well, you take a look at kind of the scoring potentials. I mean, there's been a very clear recipe for what FaZe wants to do, and it leads to Abuza picking up the EMP and putting together multiple scores in a map. Ghosty and the rest of Paris, it feels like they're still trying to figure that out with this new roster. I mean, obviously back when the roster was what it was at the very beginning, you're not going to have Neptune carrying it, so Ghosty's kind of the guy who's behind the play to grab. But now it feels like things change just a touch with how Joe and Estriel have played so far in Overload against very early, but we'll see if things can kind of establish itself as growing an identity. Whereas for FaZe, as much as they find success scoring, and I will say their average scoring is high, they still are in a position to where the last couple haven't really fully gotten over the hurdle yet. I mean, a couple of 2-3 losses, a couple of very narrow wins. So we'll see if they can find a way to kind of create some distance and a gap here early on Scar Overload, or Paris continue to slay things out. And so far, it's the latter of the two. Paris are slaying everything.
Yeah, and now Draza needs to keep the EMP safe, just not able to hit the shots. So now you're finessing a little bit if you're Ghosty, just to stall out time and hope to God that your lead blockers find success over towards the 18, but they get shut down. And now you're just trying to control top green.
Well, so far, easier said than done. Sib gets back into position. Battle with Draza in front of him. Draza is able to take that into a double. EMP still down. Estriel low on health, trying to force this battle, but it does look like the EMP will reset. And in that moment, FaZe are able to find a couple of kills, at least neutralize the middle of the map. Joe trying to follow up on that, though, is able to get himself onto 3 in a row, and now he's creating space to top green again. The Booza through mid-market, trying to just lock things up for FaZe, create some time for these defensive reinforcements to get back into the play, and it looks like that will indeed happen for now.
Yeah, and Joe just putting himself in that position towards green. There was 2 players from FaZe who spawned on the backside of that building, but just didn't want to rush their approach. Knowing that Joe could pop takeover, especially in that power position, but look at the kill feed. It's going to be all pink and not in favor of Vegas. You have pushed them back from 18, but your lead blocker is nowhere to be found, and the EMP carry just died for free.
Yeah, that feels like a little bit of a miscommunication moment right there. It doesn't seem like often that Joe would just kind of be hanging out top green unless he thought the play was was going to rotate his direction or if he was going to have more time to create something from that position. But we stay 0-0. FaZe working on some field control, but Sib is there as the first line of defense over the top of A. Estrel's nade also landing, makes life a little bit more difficult, and that will lead to a Paris kill feed with the EMP still firmly planted in the middle of the map.
And so far, 2 minutes of this overload, Paris are playing from the backside, and they have dominated a majority of the map control for basically 2 minutes straight. Like, if you are FaZe, you have been uncomfortable as soon as this game started. And now you're just hoping that your SMGs can get lost, can get through, because Paris are valuing their life so well. And they're just not giving you a lot of opportunities to even touch this EMP on good side.
No, not at all. But for now, Paris is a little bit bottled up to the middle of the map. Seems like that's going to be okay. At least to keep things even. Ghosty backs away. And now has to be the first line of defense over the top of the EMP, and he wins his first. Good shots over to Abuza, trying to set maybe up a long route from Estriel, who's already gotten to top red steps. And he will bounce out, find one. But still, there's a counter kill every single time you look at it. Until right now, 4 will fall. Opportunity to get players forward. The spawns will be up top towards the top part of the map. It's going to be Ghosty who carries. Estriel around the back of the 18-wheeler is able to find 2, slip away, keep his life. Damage out to Abuza is just enough space for Paris to get the first score.
Bro, they just have too much map control right now. FaZe are barely leaving their spawn. Now with the minute 50 left to go, the only one out is going to be Sip, but he is quickly taken care of. So this is where you need to value your life. 0-4 wins that one-on-one, but he knows the pressure is going to be on him. Thankfully, he stalls out time. This should lead to a FaZe stop.
Minute 35 on the clock in this half. Simp will get some space to work with finally on the Paris side of the map. But he is by himself, and Paris are still controlling the EMP. Popping out. Lots of damage through, but help from Abuza came through off the mid-cut. Ghosty now trying to do the same thing on through market. And they will find Simp quickly. So yes, FaZe have the EMP, but they don't have a lot of forward pressure on the map at the moment.
And they don't have that tank control, so gotta slow down again. Draza, who you were banking on potentially to find a couple kills to create that opening, he quickly gets taken care of. So now you have a minute left on the clock. If you are FaZe, you want to at least tie this game before going into the half. So this push has to work.
Well, here comes the brute force of it, but Estriel Ghosty find the first 2. 0-4 gives you 1, but Estriel on the pinch is set up freely. This could quickly turn into a counter opportunity, but Ghosty is still deciding if he wants to grab the EMP or not, valuing this position topside playing heady. It looks like the EMP will reset back to the middle of the map. A couple of the kills will maybe allow an opportunity here for Paris to still reinforce this position, but it's moving pretty slowly, I will say. Joe Deceives cut up through mid, and that's going to lead to an opportunity possibly for FaZe to get some pressure forward.
Yeah, if you're Paris, no need to rush anything. You had the lead already, and you just are playing to counter FaZe every chance that they give you. But this might be the perfect opportunity here for Vegas. They are finding all the kills. SMG's roaming around this blue building, and Abuza's getting stunned. It's not going to matter. They're able to tie the game before the half.
Yeah, really nice stuff right there from FaZe. Follow-up going to lead to just a couple of extra kills at the end, but a 1-1 count. And again, I think you called it exactly the right way. Halfway through the first half of the first quarter, the fact that Paris continue to find stops and start up 1-0 through 3 minutes feels great from the less preferred side.
Yeah, because now going into the second half, this is why they make that roster change. You pick up the likes of Estriel, you pick up the likes of Joe Deceives, who can bring that slaying presence and be nuisances once they get into that blue position. FaZe quickly needs to make that adjustment if that turns out to be the case, because if you're only going to run 2 NPCs and rely on Draza and Abuza to try to bail you out with those ARs and up close and personal gunfights, yeah, this is where Paris will start to run it up.
Yeah, I'll say. See if that comes through, though. Opening break off here in the second half. No kills. Everyone just playing for position. 0-4 looking for something over through Motel. He's been red. Help on the way. That's its first blood here in the half. Now Simp. Easy one there, playing with a little bit of an elevated peak, but the trade is through, and the EMP still stays relatively safe, but nice shots from Abuza lead to FaZe, now controlling the key parts of the map that they need to possibly grab.
But the lead blocker Andraza does fall. Thankfully, Abuza quick on the trades, and now you're just going to wait for 0-4 in the power spot in top green to try to get some information, but Simp on the other side locates through Motel. And now Paris playing on the back foot.
First blood good for Abuza on this attack. The EMP is still holding through mid-market. market. Dross is able to get one with the pistol out. 04 looking to get the top green. Help will spawn pretty closely here for FaZe, so they're waiting to develop the perfect situation to hit. And 04 is going to give himself a go. Finds one through the connector. Maybe take a little bit longer than he would have liked. Nice damage onto another. Draza, pistol out, wins the battle. Now it's just down to, can you win this if you're 04? Huge win. That's going to lead to an immediate score, and FaZe will go up 2-1.
And that's what I was talking about. Their lead blockers don't usually find success at finding those opening kills, but it's 04 this time around, making the big time play. So now FaZe up by 1. Have a lot of map control, and I'm putting Paris now in that bad position that you don't want to be here on Scar. Time is still ticking, and 04 still alive until just now.
Okay, last follow-up from Simp on the way. Able to confirm one kill and a second. So now Simp is in a position that could be a real problem here for Paris, as like you call, 3 are dead. Estrials is playing a little bit of EMP defense, trying to slow down the play. He only gets one, though. Abuza trying to quickly follow up. It's just not how much can Simp actually do by himself in this position. The follow-up with the pistol. Abuza just cannot find the legs to get all the way there. So we stay 2-1. Joe able to find the immediate recovery of the EMP, and Ghosty's looking for a quick play over through field, but it's going to get met by the entire FaZe defense.
Hey, this FaZe roster, especially on this side, they are just not allowing Paris any space in their spawn. Now just trying to slow down the game. You know where the play is going to develop. All we need to do is be effective on the trades, but it's Estrio and Simp combining for 2. 04 and Abuza, though, the safety nets get the stop for FaZe. Time still ticking. Their control of the EMP.
Nice wins coming through for Draza. Keeps the EMP position relatively safe, but Sib, huge shots. Again, don't miss, don't lose. Pistol off for Abuza. Astrial, no problems there, but a nice nade from 04 keeps this map still firmly in the control of FaZe, especially after the double from Sib. If you get that last one onto Sib, you could be off to the races, but Sib finds the win, creates enough time for the Paris defense to try to get back into position. 04 can only do so much, just damage. EMP back down to the ground, minute 50, Paris controlling.
Yeah, this might be the first opportunity they have to take a lot of space through the middle map. Ghosty whipping out the M15. Now Joe Deceives trying to get loose, only able to take down one, but you have opened up a lot of space on this A capture. EMP gonna work through backbone, but Simp falls and Draza gets the save.
He had 15 HP left. Estrial's pistol shots nearly did the job itself. But Joe, Ghosty, and Sib still find the kill. Sib just trying to create distance between the EMP and the goal. But this position for Paris could still allow them to move the spawns around. Joe trying to find the opener. Not going to happen. The shutdown comes through, and FaZe are able to stabilize. Minute 10 on the clock. FaZe controlling the EMP, at least for a moment.
Yeah, but they're trying to grab that EMP, just get it as far away as they possibly can from their spawn. Because a minute left, you've had so many great goal line stops, but Paris are still bringing that slaying presence. The initial 2 go your way, but the reset isn't going to help the gentleman. 50 seconds, FaZe got a hold.
I mean, that looked like Paris were about to find the shutdown into 04 and then grab and go quickly. Doesn't happen. Now it's down to the battles around the plane. Draza tucked into a corner. Traded out. Paris still have a player into Ghosty trying to hold FaZe back. And 04 gets shut down on that long play. Abuza's stuck. This is a nice moment here for Paris. It's just down to Draza. Able to find the first cleanly. Nade's starting to come over the top. The stuns are locking Estrial up, but he's able to score just before 04's nade lands. 2-2. EMP over towards Motel. FaZe, the closest ones to possibly extending this second half into overtime.
Another respawn, and this one is going to go all the way down to the wire, or is it? Because Simp finds 3 and Draza finds the 4. So EMP has a free roam as long as the pit continues to slay like this. FaZe are going to be able to take the overload again in the final moments in another respawn.
Oh my goodness. It just, you see it developing where Paris are essentially sitting there saying, okay, we got the hard part done. 20 seconds before overtime. Just get the kills, keep them bottled up. But Sid finds a sliver, an inch to work with. And then it's just a dismantling after that. Wow. We're going to need to see it again. Because it looks like everything's about to just kind of finish with maybe FaZe getting a little bit of extra time. Things are going to be okay. Like, you get one player in Ghosty spawning. He's planted top green. Like, this all looks like you've cut off the reinforcements. You have the EMP bottled up. But Synth, like we call, just has the smallest sliver sliver through mid-map, and then all of a sudden Joe is stuck with nowhere to go.
Yeah, he just had no one scouting over towards Motel. An opening is what Sip was looking for, and you give him the best chance at it. Able to locate 7 in a row to close out that game for his team. FaZe keep on stealing these respawns away. And if you want to Gentleman, that's another respawn that you should 100% be thinking, we got this in the bag, but just let it slip in the final moments.
Yeah, in the bag, or at least into overtime to give ourselves a chance. Wow. Okay. So the overload goes to FaZe.
Dude, they got
about as tight as it possibly goes. Yeah, that's actually so true. Holy cow. So, I mean, just go ahead, Jay. What do you got for me? Because
yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything. This series has been unbelievable between two teams who are trying to get back to that juggernaut form. Obviously, if your FaZe is going to be a little bit easier because Paris are just coming off of one of the most insane roster switch-ups we have ever seen in CDL history. But FaZe just right now seeming a little bit more icy in these closing moments. They don't really need to bring the sling at every part of this game, but when they need to have it, you gotta have it. And FaZe right now having a lot of those moments and are up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's just another one of those maps that you can look back and you can point to 50 different moments. This one in particular, where it looked like it was going to be a Paris score initially, doesn't come through. 0-4, another hero moment. Nearly gets it done again with the nade onto Astriel, but he's able to get through just before that nade takes him out of the picture. And then, yeah, just another one of those moments where Simp finds a window and does Simp things. Gets the final 7 kills in a row.
I just don't understand, though, like, if you are the Genomates, how do we leave that opening open through Motel? Yeah. Because you're capturing it at tank. They're not going to spawn over towards plane, and two of your players are already coming off of the respawn. So if FaZe aren't going to contest you, as soon as that capture goes down, you know they are working that overextension. And just not a single player who came off the respawn was watching it, or was watching it and got really bad COD timing. Because there's no way Simp initially just works the OE and is able to find 7 in a row to close out that game. That just can't happen.
Yeah, it could be something, and again, we could look at it in multitudes of different ways, but Ghosty's the one who gets the top green first, but he jumps out of top green, maybe thinking that Paris were a little bit weak, try to fight that position away, but leave that for the VOD review experts later. Let's take a look at how we have the rest of the series set up, and in particular, at map number 4, Scar Hardpoint. And in the last couple of months, you've got a pretty even dispersion here between the main AR of FaZe Vegas and the new guy in Joe Deceives, who largely had a lot of those numbers tallied up because of the success that Toronto's been able to find on that map.
Oh yeah, Toronto were one of the best Scar Hardpoint teams that we had. They were just so fundamentally sound, always beating the opposite teams to the punch, especially off the rotations. And if Joe Deceives is going to put up numbers like that, that's what you're expecting if you are Paris. You pick up one of the top SMGs in the game for this game alone. So you want him to go out there and show what he is capable of. A guy who is held to high standards so far in the season, just has yet to host a trophy. And alongside this team, even though it's hitting the reset on the chemistry aspect, this is why you make that roster move. So you can put yourself in a position to work your way up to the final tournaments to be that final 4.
Yeah. Yeah, like this, again, this statistic right here, Scar Hardpoint has been a map that Paris has really needed to add into their map pool. It's been pretty much a hard veto for them, it feels like, in the last little bit. But the last 2 times they've played it, they lost to Boston at the major in their opening round, and they previously lost it to Toronto at the major before that. So it's just one of those that, like, as you get into the deep portions of the stages, they need this map to show up, or at least to be competitive in it. So I like that we at least got that numbers splash screen onto Joe Deceives, because he's got to be the player to watch to see if Paris can find a way to be more formidable on this map that they are, at the moment, it's their worst map besides maybe Gridlock.
Yeah, usually the saying is, if you can't beat them, join them. But if you can't beat them, maybe pick him up. That can also work out. So Joe Deceives, alongside Paris, trying to provide that game plan that works so well for Koi. Here on Scar, dominating mid-map. They have yet to flip the spawns out, and now you're trapping FaZe over towards green.
Okay, good start. Nate over the top, though, actually keeps the hard point open. That'll give FaZe a little bit more time to play off this route. But it's being watched. Joe's able to find the first. Estriel still just floating around through mid-map. Gets another, but now the map starts to move around just a little bit. Good kills coming through for FaZe. That should be the last spawner for Paris to spawn down towards blue. That's Estriel. Ghosty trying to work on some high ground control. And Draza wins the opening pistol battle, so FaZe have picked up the pieces from the faults of the opening hardpoint. Now they're in a position to get their setup that they want as they try to approach P2.
Yeah, Draza's unbelievable. Another hardpoint where he has given his team a very early spark into this game. On 6 in a row was the reason why they were able to flip those spawns out and at least get 16 seconds off of the P1. But now with the Gentlemates and the numbers, they win the rotation over towards new. Shout out S, you're rocking fast hands. I'm gonna throw that nade right back at you. We're still gonna hold on to the HP.
Little play from Simp through the middle of the map. Draza gives you another 2 from the front. How about it? Jumps on into the hard point. And that allows FaZe a chance to control the play from the front. Ghosty up top, trying to cook up an 804, shuts that down. And Paris are now a little bit stuck outside red steps. Last 18 seconds. Here comes possibly the final hit for Paris. Simp gets the opener. Joe pushed back. Still trying to fight off this angle. And a good nade from Ghosty keeps the hard point open. On rotation, Joe. Draza is able to win one, not the follow-up. And a nice moment develops here for Paris in the final 10 seconds of the hill.
Oh, big shout out to Ghosty for throwing the Kobe all the way across the map, because now this gives Paris firm control of everything that they want going into this P3. You know that FaZe are consistently going to be spawning over towards blue, but now they're working on their routes. Already finding success by finding the opening kill over through both sides, and now starting off the trade scenario. FaZe walking away with the majority of the fights. They get a very quick break.
Yeah, that's about as perfect as a break could possibly be on P3. You hit the 2-2 split, you win one gunfight from the front, another through mid, and it puts Paris in the blender. Quick response, though. Once again, Ghosty just doing the work. Putting in nade time. Draza trying to slide himself back up towards the plane, cut off, though, by Ghosty, who's just been such a problem right now. As soon as FaZe start to generate some momentum, Ghosty's slowing him down.
Yeah, like FaZe got the sequence of kills that they were looking for. It's just they didn't put anyone in a position to hard block those spawns over towards blue. So you give the Gentlemates an inch, they're going to be able to take a mile, and now you can blow the game wide open because they are slaying them to bits. Consistently pushing FaZe back to always spawn over towards green, and they're now going to be uncontested for the first 15.
Okay, well, Ghosty, 5 in a row. Nice shots onto number 6. Now in potential Hellstorm range. Ghosty's down low. Helper on the back from Simp, but he's being held, just touched by Joe Deceives, and he will eventually win that gunfight. Yeah, Paris are looking like a totally reinvigorated team on this map right now. They have done just about everything you could possibly do to either win control and spawns immediately with the proper setup, or find ways to counter what FaZe are throwing your way. This has been a near flawless P4.
Yeah, and now Ghosty has a Hellstorm to benefit from it. If you are FaZe, this game became 2 times harder now. The fact that he has that utility going forward. You only want to invest it on the money hill for P3. So the Gentlemates up by 60, even though you're spawning at old. You give yourself a couple chances here at breaking this and saving that Hellstorm. You know that FaZe are still going to be trying to create some safety because they desperately need a good hold here.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, considering how convincing that P4 was, we're still only looking at about a 60-point game. So Ghosty feeling the pressure on rotation. We'll call the Hellstorm in here. Route from Draza may actually give him a chance to find the tablet carrier of Ghosty, but instead Joe finds the pick. Good information gathering off the UAV elements. Turns that into a second, so Paris will find their way in from the front. 04 trying to make his way out of top green, not going to work out. And how about this? Paris are now all of a sudden kind of trapping FaZe, spawning behind green.
Yeah, it's a beneficial Hellstorm there. To now guarantee potentially this final 35 seconds, because you know FaZe are going to be trapped over to the backside of this green building, and we have the crossfire set up to perfection to shut down the pressure on the time. So still keeping that 70 to 80 point lead, and now your main focus is to keep FaZe on this side of the map.
Yeah, and Estriel just got 4 objective kills plus a bunch of assists, so he's got a second Hellstorm off of only 5 in a row. Paris are lighting up this Scar hardpoint. Are there any more heroics in the bag for FaZe? The Zaza duo combined for 2, trying to get something to open up the map through the middle. 45 seconds on this hardpoint, and finally FaZe have some ground to work with.
Just something about FaZe's hardpoint, Gabe, right now. When everything is going right, it's due to them winning rotations. When everything is going wrong, they're consistently playing from the back foot. And that's what they currently find themselves in. Cannot find ground to stand on. So 25 seconds remaining at the P1, and with the leader's advantage that you have, if you are the Genomates, you can hit these long routes. You can keep on stalling out the time because FaZe need to start playing some perfect COD and need to win this rotation anew.
Well, so far, this moment right now is pretty perfect, especially with Abuza finding two on the other side through red steps. Draza, knowing he's got a couple of Bears members right in front of him, is trying to play his life, trying to finesse for these kills, but not going to happen. So now it's just down to where will FaZe spawn with this 2-2 split for Paris coming through. They will spawn towards red steps. 0-4 has to survive, and he's just not able to. Simp in trouble. Paris able to get to the hard point, plus they still have the Hellstorm if things get a little bit messy.
Yeah, so this game is basically going to be done and dusted if you give up this 40 seconds to Paris for free. Thankfully, Dross is able to fly on them for two. Abuza finds the final, so you are pushing the Genomates back, and now you're forcing them to spawn over towards this green side, where Dross is ready and waiting. That extra layer is being created. Nice. Lines up three to push them back.
Yeah, 0-4 just trying to find Sib for the fourth and final, but gets punished. So FaZe are still in the time, but Paris have the numbers on the return back to the hard point. We'll see how FaZe handle with the FaZe Vegas. Listen in.
Good time. Yeah, I mean, wide wall again. Cutting wide wall. I haven't seen it. It's fine, green. Spawn back. Nice, yeah. One by green again. I've seen the green. I'll say that way. I'm blocking that green. I'm here. They're spawning red. Time. I hit one. I hear. One is one blue. Blue box now. From green. Drop one time. Yeah. I'm trying to need time. I'm playing. I'm studying. Time and go. I'm leading view. Hold on. Mini top. Last year. I'm playing. Just three there. March on the gate. Two left. I'm Nice. I get down. He's close. I'm dominating. He's low. I'm about to. Be good. Outright, trust. Don't see him. I'll go. I'm one HP. I cannot chat. It's ghosty. Three there. Three left. Three left from one train. Look at my deep door. Yeah, have you done it? Go blue box. Take it. I hear it. Yo. There's my ticket door. On the right. Give me top. I don't see him. Yeah, white wall on me. One front door. Two front door. One front door. One going two going top. One left, one top, and one front door. I went deep up. Give me top. Give it time. One on the run. Watch that P1 and one right. One drop. Joe's on the truck. Back door. One shot back. When he's back left door. Bang. That's fine. I'm gonna check. I'm Austin. Front door weak. Back. One to be top. Right. That's you. I'm pushing up. I'm out left, okay? I'm gonna I get time.
Man, a handful of gunfights that FaZe are a bullet away from winning, but Paris have created some daylight now on this map. 205-122. FaZe in control of the rotation, so here we go again with the P5 Hellstorm.
Yeah, this way you just push them back, put them in that position towards top green and allow your SMGs to take so much space. Set up that crossfire, set up again. Potentially try to close it out here, but you can no longer win here. All you're trying to do is just push FaZe back, even though they still have the spawns. Look at the way Paris are playing for this. Yep. They are forfeiting those spawns. Run at us again, we got the crossfire.
Yes, exactly right. Simp gives you one on the pinch, though, through mid-connector. Here comes the push from the front. Great bait and switch. Buzo's able to benefit for two, but Estriel, the last one standing, gets the trade. Congests the choke point with nades. Utility now heading over from the backside at P3, and Sib and Joe will clean things up. Like you said, not able to win here, but may as well be. It's a 100-point game, and look at the minimap. Paris have everything they could possibly want to close it at P1.
They just keep on locking FaZe over towards this green side. On a map like Scar, that is not the spot that you want to be in a majority of the map, because this is what the score line will look like. Genomates only need 17 seconds, and with the leader's advantage. We're just looking for the perfect opportunity. So work on these long routes and look for the opening kill.
Well, Ghosty, mid-map, waiting for his teammates to come off spawn. Is he able to find the kills? No, I was gonna say, it just feels like you're just sitting on the edge. You're like, when is this fight gonna happen? When is this fight gonna happen? And it's 0-4 who doubles down. Maybe a bit of a lifeline here for FaZe. Last 15 seconds, trying to find the shutdown onto Joe over towards New. And once more, we're in a position where FaZe are still breathing.
Yeah, don't give him another opportunity if you're the Gentleman's. This is one that you desperately need to close on out, and it's only going to make it easier when you're finding kills off the rotation. But FaZe are going to be the team initially to start off all the time. They have the ARs, they got the crossfires, and for now they are pushing the Gentleman's back.
Here we go. Trying to set up the break attempt is Paris. Sim pushed off. Double pitch on the way here. Booza's got the read on it, though. Is just playing his life, holding it back. Help on the way from Sim. They can't quite find the kills, though. Ghosty gets one from the front. Now it's just down to all of this. Paris is going to return back and try to set this up with a 3-man hit. Ghosty, Joe able to find the kills. Draws the last one left. Trying to wait for the regen. Has to jump into contest. Pistol out. Does he find the opportunity? Connect. No, it's Joe with the shutdown. Chance for Paris to win the game here. Sim makes safe the pitch. You've got to go quickly if you're FaZe. All 4 players hitting from the front. Nade's starting to trot through, but they're not able to find the connections initially. But the gunfights lead to a 1v1 possibly for the game. It's 249, 186, and Paris are going to just push themselves back to rotate into P3.
Yeah, they're just going to cut their losses. You might as well, or contest it for the old time, because all you need is 1 second. You don't allow FaZe this time around to steal another respawn. It was dominance from Gentleman's to start, and it was a great finish for them to close it out and force that game number 5. It's just a majority of that game, they were winning rotations. And then when you're winning rotations, the gunfights are a whole lot easier because you're dominating the power spots. And when you're dominating the power spots, it's most likely going to lead to some hellstorms that are going to play a big part to the deciding factor of who is going to win it. Gentleman's were just doing the little things right. Slaying presence was there, and this is the Gentleman's you want to see. Forcing the game 5 now.
Wow. Unreal stuff. I mean, it just another moment where it kind of felt like we were going to get that same FaZe comeback. I'm sitting here looking at my notes on it. It's just like, here we go again. P5 Hellstorm sets them up for win condition. And then it's just something about this FaZe team where it's just like, okay, we have to play perfect COD, so I guess we kind of will. Like, if that was only there before. But the gap just too big to overcome this time around. And I think just kind of in particular, you kind of look at the graph, and honestly, it's just a flat line around P2 and around P4. It just doesn't quite get there for FaZe at any moment in time. And I really go back to that second P4 where it goes from 99 to 117. I mean, in the middle of that listen-in, there's probably 5 different players that are 1 bullet away from being a kill the other direction, and FaZe are probably the team who's able to at least tie, if not retake the lead. So it's just a couple of gunfights don't go your way.
And that's just a big shout out to the Gentleman's, man, especially the AR players, because everyone was running an M15 at points. But when it came down to you having the job to lock down the spawns, they dominated all of the power spots. So Paris are able to take the game 2. They are able to take the game 4. And now we're going to have a game 5 between both of these potential juggernauts to end out this series.
And I don't know why I'm sitting here looking at my notes so much. We got to remember this is a brand new team for Paris, so just throw that away. Let's jump to break and come back for map number 5. Right on the backside of this break, an instant classic. Very well may be. Den to determine who comes away the victor in the backside of the game.
Dominate the competition on main stage with the CDL Major Hunter Tracer Pack. Collect your chip by scanning the QR code or heading to the in-game store now. Go pick up the 2026 Call of Duty League Championship Tracer Pack. You can support all 12 Call of Duty League teams.
Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL.
can't do anything. These two hills right here, these two hills,
Oh shit!
Oh, there's one hallway, one hallway.
Oh!
Where are you? This guy. Damn.
There's nothing here.
Sidewalk, he's a one shot.
He's dead.
That's it. They can go there deep. That's it.
Yo, pinch.
Nice, let's go. That's above you. He went down. Down.
Absolute, my bad. He's one shot. You guys got this. You got this. Running for you. Way better. Wait.
Nice!
Let's go.
If I lose that, then just take the Porsche away.
Alright. Now the car, come on.
Yeah.
Go to the car.
Yeah, we gotta go.
One shot. You want front time.
Yo, it's on the back.
One shot.
What? That looked like horse manure.
Oh, we got Fame here. Fame, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. Happy to be here.
Fantastic interview as always from Fame. Wonderful lad.
Long, I have the door push. Stay alive. I have the door. Use your two front door. Let's get front door. Watch your front. Nice one. Let's get late. Long. Stay alive, bro. Come on. Let's go. Baby. We're sweeping them. I promise you we're God. Oh my God.
Here we go. Map 5. Paris Gentlemates, FaZe Vegas. And after all of the unreal question marks that surrounded Paris throughout Major 2, throughout Major 3, they make a blockbuster move, the likes of which we've never really seen before in the CDL. And they've, I would say without any level of concern, put themselves in the conversation for at worst top 5, if not better. But if you beat FaZe here, we got a whole different idea around what this Paris team ceiling could look like heading into their major.
Especially at this moment for this team, because you understand FaZe have been the same roster from start to finish of this season, so their chemistry should be able to shine, especially in a game mode like Search and Destroy. But we saw it in that map number 2. FaZe are giving up clutch after clutch. This is not normal for that organization, not normal when you have a player like Simp on the lineup. But game 5s have been dominated between these two teams. 5 FaZe, can they find another?
Simp sniping here in round number 1. Only is able to scout out a touch of information onto Simp, who is just throwing some mild shoulders through mid. Oh, I was gonna say there's an opportunity onto Draza. But now all of a sudden this A site becomes very vulnerable. Draza peeled back, FaZe calling for reinforcements early. You gotta be cautious here if you're Paris. You don't want to be caught by counter nades, and Sib is gonna go to the outer rooftops. If he can find a pick here, it'd be insane, but it's Extrial instead for the first, Joe deceives for the second, and Sib could just lock down this doorway now.
Now FaZe outnumbered. Need to have timing go their way. Abuza misses the shot, and Sim's just gonna send it because they have the advantage. Now in the 2v1, 04 is just gonna get the hell out of there.
Well, he's given himself an opportunity to reset this 1v2. 33 seconds on the clock. And 04 is very nervy about this Paris setup potentially being right above or in front of him. Oh, the timing here could be insane. He's gonna check A first though. I was gonna say if he decides to go behind over to their dojo, he may pop up right behind this plant, but instead he's gonna have to do this the hard way. 1v2 retake required.
40 seconds remaining. Both players from the Gentlemates back up towards their locker side, and 04 is gonna take the long route to try to catch them off guard, but they are watching this.
Joe deceives the first one to watch. Shoulders, it's all it needs. Yep, there's the backup. And all you gotta do is either double chow this or just sit here and just continue to be a bother, and that's exactly what Paris will do. Nice opener. It can be so dangerous to hit that A site in an opening round where there's no trophies and your sniper is not able to find the first blood, because counter nades could absolutely punish you, but Extrial just sends it. Comes away with the first blood. Paris reap the reward.
So far, that's flawless in Search and Destroy versus Vegas. 7-0 round count. And then it's been the same exact answer. The reason why. Just catching FaZe off guard. You saw everyone was rallying towards the backside of Plat, probably giving a 3-2-1 count of going for the chow, but Estrio doesn't allow them to make that decision the way that they want to. He is the initiator, and that allows Paris to put themselves in early numbers and take the opening round.
Well, here Droza nearly able to get themselves into position, but not the case. And it's Estriel who now turns this into a convincing 3v1. Droza the one left. He's got an SMG, decent shots for the first, but how does he survive the second? The answer is he does not.
And the Gentleman's chemistry right now shining in this mode. What kind of players do you have? The aggressive, win gunfights in your face kind. So let's just instantly take rooftops away. Dominate this side of the map, and if FaZe are ready and waiting for us, we got the gunny to potentially bail us out. You spot out Abuza, you back him down, you try to keep Abuza alive to play the trades, but it's Estriel and Joe walking away with 3 and only losing 1. And Paris continuing on their hot streak in S&D.
Yep, 2 really good rounds back to back. Offense coming through now for Paris, looking towards B. Droza 0-4, the defenders that are nearby. Abuza by himself over at A, kind of a similar setup defensively, but this is good info here for Estriel. 0-4 respects that he can't go that far forward, and the smoke will cover the tactical retreat. And they're going to stack up for an A hit, see if they can catch Abuza off guard by himself.
Yeah, with 0-4 in that position over towards mid, we know that we have the advantage on the opposite side, but the island player finds the opening. Now Abuza, all he wants to do is stall out time, but it's going to be Sib, gets the freebie, and might get more.
You can't die here, though. If you're Sib, you're the bomb carrier. I was going to say, you could wait. You've got Estriel, who's re-wrapping back over through B. And now all of a sudden, FaZe are a little bit scattered, but Sib decides to take matters into his own hands. Forces the battle, finds the win, puts Estriel into the 1v2. It's a good opportunity to get this route going. He could potentially still sneak behind Simp. But now heads have turned. Estriel facing both players at the same time, not going to happen. Yeah, that's one of those moments, like I see what we're trying to do there for Paris, but I hit that moment where it's just like, wait, because Estriel's got a wide open B lane, but Sib decides to play forward, gets caught, bombed down. Not much you can do from there if you're Paris.
Yeah, he lives and dies by the chow, and he's probably expecting for Abuza to have a sniper in that position. In that previous offense, when you're approaching over towards Plat, he's going to miss that shot if he hits some movement. But this time around, he has an M15. So Sib tactically scams there and gives FaZe the opportunity. Finally, their first round secured in Search and Destroy in this series came at a very good time.
Yeah, I'll say. Well, here comes a forward play for the defense of Paris over at the front gate at B. Sib the one kind of watching through middle, and they're going to try to force this one out right. That's a little bit too much investment, you would think, into choosing what the initial play call was, but Joe, a secondary challenge out of nowhere, finds a double, and Paris will get away with the aggressive defense. Bomb now down, but FaZe have players on either side of the B site.
What FaZe have been historically good at in Search and Destroy has always been their mid-round adjustments. But if the Gentlemates are going to keep on with their aggression in the first 15, they don't even have a chance to even think about the next time play. Because now you're in another man down. 40 seconds remaining. Bomb is right in front of the Gentlemates, and all you're doing is scouting for info. Get the hell out of Dodge.
Sam maybe had a chance to isolate, but loses his first 1v1, leaving Abuza to what would be a 1v3, but Paris not going to allow him to do much with that chance. Quick follow-up, but I don't know if we have a replay of it. That is an unreal call for Joe to still push through Archway after they lose the initial battle. Looks like FaZe is perfectly set up to deal with it, but Joe's just different, I guess.
Hey, understood. Like, I had this player weak. So we can get to jump on the first guy, and we still have an extra gun in the vicinity just to play the trade if I do fall. But Joe, shining again with the NPC. He found a lot of success alongside Koi on this map specifically, and he's doing it here again.
3-1 the count. Trophy system for Paris. Going to be down to help them get a look over at the B site. 0-4 is just laying prone, staying safe from all of this incoming utility and initial pre-fire. Stun lands, but would you expect that to be onto 0-4 up close and personal? Estriel looking for some info, sees Simp. 0-4 hasn't popped up yet. Now he's going to make a way, but Estriel was still kind of triggering the pre-fire onto Simp, and I don't know if he intended to kill 0-4, but he still found it regardless. 4v2 for Paris.
Yeah, Simp was trying to bait there for his SMG duo. Just Estriel still holding that pre-aim. You pop up, you're getting hit with some headshots. So an instant 4v2. Estriel could get it active. Hits through bottom connector. Now Straza technically in a 1v4 and is gonna get cut down. The Gentleman's just made this roster change less than 2 weeks ago, and they are looking like one of the top teams in Search and Destroy.
I mean, without question, this has been as good as it gets in terms of the map 2 and map 5 to this point. Yeah, Estriel, he's looking for Sip. That's kind of what I thought. He just holds down the trigger and then, hey, how are you? And that was just in a scattered set of sprays. And 04 thinks he's got Estriel timed out. Not the case. And Estriel showing that he could be an X factor as well here in the Search and Destroy 6 and 5. The new guys on the block are combined 12 and 8.
And Paris Gentlemen are desperately trying to find a method they can add to their map pool in this game mode. And you might have found 2 in this series. Now, if you are FaZe, we need to stop the bleeding. You can initiate by taking mid-map control, but ready and waiting is Paris in a position to get the read and now set up for the next play.
Absolutely the case. Here comes the re-wrap over through B, though. Defense has elected to give away this B site, so it's going to have to be on whatever they have set up for a retake, and it's going to be, by the look of it, a 4-man hit through Dojo. Complete burst play potentially on the way. Simp the first one in line, able to find the opener. Sid looking for the angle, doesn't trust that he had the freedom to make that scope play happen. There is at least one trade, but now the pinch is starting to be established, and there's just surely no way FaZe dropped this, but Booz gets caught swapping between weapons. Draza dealing some damage. 1v1 over to the middle of the map. 04 is weak. Trying to kill off time, and eventually shuts down Ghosty, and that will likely put this round hopefully to bed, but Joe's gonna get some space to play with here. Knows he's got to force the gunfight on 04 and just can't quite find him. FaZe stay alive.
Okay, FaZe, finally a different look. It works out because Paris on the other side weren't instantly there to gather that information to push you back, but once you take mid-map, you realize there's no one here to contest us. We've already shown presence at Dojo, so let's just get this bomb down. And then Chris Slayer makes the initial big-time play with the opening double, gives FaZe the numbers advantage, then 04 as the closer. FaZe stop the bleeding.
Okay, 4-2. Gonna need some more of that if you're FaZe. 3-man defensive setup on the way, looking for some aggression. Sib waiting for a chance to try to find a peek, but smoke will block the line of sight. He steps up. Wow, he's by himself. What? Running forward as essentially a sacrificial lamb for Paris, who are now looking to try to isolate over towards A, and they find the kill that they need. So it's a 3v3. Defense gonna rotate late, but Joe not committing for the plant here.
I love this, because you know FaZe are gonna be in a position to instantly contest this because of how quick they found that kill at that B site. So now trying to take space to rooftop. Estriel gets sniffed out by 04, and FaZe starting to look like FaZe of old.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of space here if Joe decides to play forward. Looks like he's going to. Sip, early damage comes through. 04 will fall, though. Sip able to find the first damage onto Joe, trying to be confirmed on, and Draza will make sure that doesn't get a little bit too mixy. Yeah, bold call right there. I mean, it works out in a couple of ways because Paris really were never intending to play over through B, and FaZe hit them with a 3-man hit, but for Sip to just kind of sacrifice his life like that is interesting.
Yeah, I say it all the time to like my stud fan members and the people I come across in ranked play. Don't ever assume in Call of Duty. That is the worst thing you can do. Because right there, Sib assumes that with the pressure that FaZe was setting, especially with that smoke grenade, that they were just going to try to take mid-statue. So even with the sniper pistol, being the island player, to potentially make the big-time play, he just gets caught. So now 2 rounds in a row here for Vegas. Trying to make it 3 as they have all out aggression in towards rooftops, and they're instantly forcing Ghost to reposition.
And 04 will duck behind cover and avoids all of this defensive utility. Double flank, though. Joe and Estriel gonna try to work it together. Abuza's stun does not land. Did he see a shadow? Looks like yes. Oh, and he's able to find the first blood onto Estriel. He knows that Joe's somewhere over here. Easy follow-up. And the rest of this hit for Paris would have to be just draw from the front. And Sib says not today. 4-4. FaZe getting some fuel. 3 rounds in a row for FaZe Vegas.
they have been able to now make the proper mid-game adjustments, because every single time on their offenses, Paris are able to gather that information and quickly have an answer for it. But when Abuza, the only player is watching the pitch, has info onto both and secures both, it's a post-plant 4v2 that FaZe know that they can't let go. Tie game.
Yeah, it's big from Abuza on flank watch. Paris now on to the next attack. Sib sniping, but so is Abuza. Just watching this push through it. I don't even know if Estrel's going to understand that how quickly FaZe are playing through roofs. No, he won't. Immediate cause and effect, and FaZe say thank you very much. We'll take our 4v2 and set up a really sturdy defense.
Yeah, that's the chemistry outclassing Paris right there. Have your sniper watch over your aggressive players. If he finds an opening kill, it's even better. But now in a 4v2, Ghosty, as the island guy, is able to isolate onto 04, so still manageable here for Paris.
Yep. Mind games now starting to develop. 45 seconds on the clock. Plenty of time to do this if you are Paris, but they have to worry about the flank. Simp seen. I believe that's information, though, for Simp at the same time. Stun check. Checking the outer, nothing there. It looks like Paris are going to roll the dice here and test their luck at A. Here comes the hit. FaZe getting a little skittery. Draza does enough to allow Simp to come up to find one. Ghosty down to 18 seconds, and FaZe are not going to make a mistake. They are going to essentially allow him to plant and then test late. There's the stun. Abuza can just keep throwing shoulders. And Ghosty is going to run out of time here if he doesn't commit for the plant. And yeah, one more check from Draza. No time to plant. Easy follow-up. No problems for FaZe. 5-4 match point.
Unbelievable adjustments out of FaZe right now. You're getting success in the first bloods. And then now we're not scamming number situations. They're like, okay, you're good. You can plant the bomb 18 seconds. We'll retake with 2 guns versus 1. But just the chemistry, the teamwork on display in this round. Abuza with the opening snipe. Sip and 04 take the space, retreat after they guarantee those kills. And now it's 4 rounds in a row for FaZe to be at game point.
Here comes the 4-man hit. Trophy system to supply some support, but ooh, Simp actually still gets tagged by that nade. So information for Paris' defense. Joe deceives on the close corner outside 10. Pre-fire shots towards Simp, but Joe's able to find the first as he get more than that. Lots of damage into Simp, but he's still alive. Astro quickly trying to come over to help, and you've got Ghosty watching over through mid-map. Second trophy comes down. Draza taking damage, though, from Simp. FaZe feeling a little bit bottled up here, and they're going to say, we just need to try to find some space.
Yeah, we don't want to waste any more time committing on this engagement, because we have no mid-map, and we know that we don't have the numbers. So Paris are consistently throwing their shoulders. Draza's trying to at least set up an angle potentially to make it a 3v3, but time is getting away from FaZe.
Sure is. They have to commit. Simp tries to push it forward. Not going to happen. Joe still in the corner. Draza gets the trade, but it comes at a steep cost. Just down to Abuza. Not going to happen. Round 11. Let's go.
Paris right there in that defensive round, which is able to instantly meet FaZe on their play call. Joe Deceive sitting on the outside of 10, gets the first blood, and then once he gets that first kill, the second engagement doesn't go down until 40 seconds later. FaZe knew that they were trapped, but they had to commit. And now it's a round 11 for all the marbles.
These guys just do not go away. Map 1, 1-point game. Last second score in the overload. Near comeback effort in map 4. Now around 11 with a number of rounds for FaZe in a row, but is it enough? 04 stunned at mid-map, tossing a nade up to Sib. Lands for damage. It gives 04 the position, but Paris still stay in the 4v4.
Yeah, FaZe trying to go back to the offense that worked for them in the previous round. Take mid, guarantee some space over towards B, but they're going to commit through mid-cut.
Joe seen, but staying alive. Tags to Ghosty! Oh! Abuza just paints his picture through the wall. 04 gets some info there on this little shoulder check through mid. Sets himself up, Sim for another! Oh! 04! Huge final win and a flawless round for FaZe. Completes this series in a round 11, map 5. And Paris can't believe it.
A team that needed to have it, man. FaZe. They locked in. They were able to put it together at the right time. And it was the perfect play call in the round 11. You know, Paris are gonna be feeling the pressure. And if you allow them to initiate the opening round kill, that has caused you problems. But FaZe go back to what works. We take mid-map. We allow you to feel the pressure, and then we work our way through mid-cut. You're able to get the first blood out of an insane wall bang out of a Booza, while 0-4 the entire time was maintaining mid. All map control was for FaZe in that final round. And now the series is all in favor of FaZe. Another game 5, they get the better of Paris.
The cause and effect as well of that first blood from Abuza is insane. If Abuza doesn't find that pick, the defense around Dojo still feels stable, but as soon as he drops, that forces that play out of Sib and Astro to try to reclaim mid because you just don't have that same presence.
Point stratégique. Le succès garantit un accès aux avantages premium. Point stratégique sécurisé. On a l'avantage de lâcher. On conteste le point stratégique. Le personnel va capturer le point stratégique. On est à la trêve. Point stratégique contesté. On contrôle le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. On a l'avantage. Tenez le cap. Point stratégique contesté. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On a perdu l'avantage. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique actif. Point stratégique contesté. conteste le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique localisé. Le point stratégique est actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. On conteste le point stratégique. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique actif. Activez le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On contrôle le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. Le point stratégique est actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique contesté. On contrôle le point stratégique. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. On conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique actif. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. Vous imaginez bien que cela sera déduit de votre salaire. point stratégique. Faites preuve d'initiative, si vous voulez que Madame Kagan vous remarque. Point stratégique sécurisé. Conservez notre avantage. On conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. Personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Le point stratégique est actif. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique contesté. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. L'ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique contesté. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. Un Hellstorm en approche. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique est actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Ils sont en tête. Reprenez l'avantage. On conteste le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. On a pris la tête. Creusez l'écart. Point stratégique contesté. On conteste le point stratégique. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique contesté. Black Ops a pris la tête. Ne les laissez pas faire. Point stratégique localisé. Point stratégique actif. On contrôle le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique contesté. On a l'avantage. Tenez le cap. Hellstorm ennemi détecté dans votre Z-O. Point stratégique identifié. Personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On contrôle le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. Point stratégique actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Le point stratégique est actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. Point stratégique actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. Personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On contrôle le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique identifié. Le point stratégique est actif. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. Point stratégique. Continuez comme ça, équipe de sécurité, on mène. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. Point stratégique stratégique actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique sécurisé. Le personnel ennemi a capturé le point stratégique. On contrôle le point stratégique.
Le système trophy a été neutralisé.
La direction reconnaît votre contribution à cette victoire.
Point stratégique. Soyez vigilants. La guilde mijote quelque chose. Point stratégique capturé. On mène. Restez concentrés. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. La guilde a pris les points stratégiques. Vous êtes à la traîne, Black Ops. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique localisé. Point stratégique capturé. Le point stratégique est actif. La guilde a pris les points stratégiques. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique sécurisé. On conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique capturé. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique contesté. La guilde a pris les points stratégiques. Point stratégique actif. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique contesté. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique capturé. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. La guilde a pris les points stratégiques. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique sécurisé.
L'ennemi a détruit votre système trophy.
Point stratégique localisé. Le point stratégique est actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique capturé. La guilde a pris les points stratégiques. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique actif. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Vous attendez quoi? Passez à l'action! Un Hellstorm se rapproche. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique sécurisé. Point stratégique localisé. On conteste le point stratégique. Le point stratégique est actif. La guilde a pris les points stratégiques. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique capturé. On conteste le point stratégique. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. Point stratégique identifié. Point stratégique actif. Point stratégique sécurisé. On conteste le point stratégique. Point stratégique contesté. On conteste le point stratégique. La guilde a pris les points stratégiques. Point stratégique contesté. Point stratégique capturé. L'ennemi a pris le point stratégique. On conteste le point stratégique. Évacuez la zone. Il va falloir reprendre cette opération depuis le début.